Okay, so it seems that today everyone, for some reason, on Twitter is asking, what is woke? Can we define wokeness? Is this woke? What about this?
Hey,
Oh, look at this.
here they are.
Have we named her? What's her?
I'm in support of my daughter Ruby.
Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, Ruby. Now that looks woke.
I'm having them be a they them.
Oh.
I'm gonna just call them they them, and they are doing great, and they're settling in. I just
Giving gender-neutral pronouns to inanimate objects in homage to your trans daughter. Now, if that ain't woke...
F-16s, please.
Is this woke?
God is gay.
Why all of a sudden is everybody obsessed with having a definition of woke? Are we not living in an age, have we not learnt enough now that our feelings and lived truths are far more valuable than facts and evidence and stuff like that?
Of Americans consider themselves very liberal, and probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we talk about traditional,
what does that mean to you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So,
these are not my preferred pronouns. These are my pronouns.
Woke is...
Hi, I'm Jax, and I just came up with new neo-pronouns that combine he, him, she, her, and they, them, okay? So hear me out. They, them, theirs, okay? They, them, their, whatever you want to consider it, right? Let's take the first one, the, okay? This combines she, he, and they, right? They. The. That's what they said, That's what they said. Next, we got them, right? Okay, so them, that's just combining them and him. Them. I went to a movie with them the other night. Last one, theirs, okay? It's just like theirs, but also like hers. Theirs. That jacket's theirs. Yes, this just sounds like they, them pronouns, but with the new ultra-scientific method, we have them so they've combined he and she as well. Everybody gets you with the, them, theirs today, yeah?
Sort of the idea that...
Tips on how you can be a better intersex ally. When it comes to inclusive language, oftentimes people tend to use phrases like people with penises or people with vaginas rather than saying male and female or men and women. While this can absolutely be inclusive for trans people, unfortunately it's not always the most inclusive language for intersex people. My advice is to use language that focuses on function and not just form. That means focusing on the actual function that you're talking about, such as people who can get pregnant, people who can get other people pregnant, people who are at risk of testicular cancer, and so on and so forth. This is much more inclusive because there are intersex people who are born with a vagina but don't have a uterus or ovaries or an ability to menstruate. This is because some people that are born with a penis don't have testes. So it's much more inclusive to say what you actually mean than it is to use language that works around that.
I'm trying to phrase this nicely and I can't yell, but I want to. So, Black people and people of color in the queer community aren't seen by white queers as queer as they are. On almost every occasion where I've been discussing my queerness or my experiences with queerness with white gays, they speak to me in a condescending way and they treat me as if I am a straight person imposing on a queer subject because they don't see us as queer as them. Queerness is seen as something that is white and a way to compare oppression, and it's used to compare oppression. So it's impossible for white gays to see us as gay as them. The LGBTQ community has been used as a front to hide racism or to excuse racism. Do research on Black queerness, please.
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. Woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it.
A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Watermelon sugar pride. Watermelon sugar pride. Watermelon sugar pride. Watermelon sugar pride. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, we're every color of the rainbow, we're me and we're you. Watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride. We're lesbian, we're gay, we're bi, we're trans, we're queer, we're queer, we're queer, we're queer. Watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride, watermelon sugar pride. And all in. And we are proud of you.
It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression. It's hard to explain in a 15-second soundbite.
Yeah, look, time.
Okay, not that. At this point, woke is a slur. The way the right uses it is an undercover way of saying those people or non-white people. It's a polite way of saying the N-word, but in this case, the N-word includes blacks, LGBTQ folks, and other marginalized groups. Yeah, that's not it either. I don't think woke is the new N-word, the W word. No, I think what most people mean when they say woke, even though they haven't really sat down and thought about a definition of it, but I think essentially what they mean is those people that have a warped view of the world because they're ideologues, and the ideology that they subscribe to is essentially intersectionality, right? They believe that all human interaction is a power struggle, the oppressors against the oppressed, and how do we define who has more power? Well, it tends to be along the lines of their immutable characteristics, so their race, their sexuality, their gender, how able-bodied they are, their religion, and then a few other changeable variants like how much money you've got and stuff like that. But that's really not as important. It's not as important because they believe that the outcome, the fact that certain groups of people do better economically or whatever, is just because of a power struggle based on their immutable characteristics. The only thing that's important to them is equity, the belief that everyone should have equality of outcome. Everyone should have exactly the same. And the only reason that they don't is because oppressors are oppressing the oppressed. In its most simple form, we can accurately define woke as meaning approaching issues through the lens of intersectionality. From this, all else follows. Woke, a pathological and maladaptive secular religion built on the two fundamental axioms of systemic racism and gender ideology. Hang on a minute, you're not suggesting it's a cult, are you?
So, you're going no contact. You're considering going no contact. You're 25% of the way toward an open door on the subject of no contact. And you're feeling guilty. So one of the things I needed to get over, I'm no contact with my family. All of them. Siblings, parents, extended family, cousins, everybody. And the thing I wanted to point out to you today in this video about going no contact is I didn't consider my own feelings. As painful as it is, the pain of being a person who goes no contact is nothing compared to the daily pain you've been in from being in relationship with these folks. I love you.
That gentleman sounds woke.
Here, it's like every single day, you guys, and this is what I complain about all the time. Look, what's his name? What's your name?
My name's
Alex?
Tommy.
Yeah, your name's Alex, and I'm gonna be talking to your manager. This guy called me sir. I get this happens every fucking day. Everywhere I go, I get called sir. I'm so fucking tired. Why would you call a chick big ass tits? Fucking. Why would you call? I didn't say. No, stop trying to gaslight trans people and tell us that we're crazy. Crazy. You need to fucking be mindful of other people.
Often when I see people like that person harassing minimum wage fast food chain workers, I often think that seems pretty woke. Now, if somebody asked me on a TV program to define woke, I don't know what I would say if I could come up with such a slick definition as I did a few minutes ago, but that looked pretty woke to me.
Hey, that's bullshit. You don't harass trans people at work. Yeah, you did. And I'm walking out and you're like, have a good night, sir. What the fuck is that?
You know, going in there demanding some 17-year-old minimum wage fast food chain burger slinger to use your pronouns. That seemed pretty woke.
We're regressing politically. We're regressing in every facet of our society. Yes, through hate. As I said, this is not something new. No. White supremacy, the ideology of whiteness, is the norm, not the exception. So people, please wake the heck up and let's eradicate the problem.
How about instead of asking conservatives to define what woke means, when we all basically know what it means, how about we ask these people who want to change our our society so much what their solution is? Because they don't want to say it, do they? They don't want to say the quiet part loud. I'll say it for them. I know what they want to say. So this thing that's going on Twitter today, everyone trying to get conservatives to define the word woke. And I see what they mean, because there are a lot of sort of simpletons on the right, as well as there are on the left, who just sort of see anything they see as sort of soft and lefty, and they go, oh, woke, 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 without even thinking about what it means. But let's look at people like Shola or Owen Jones, or I don't know, any of these sort of lefties that do absolutely and wholly subscribe to the idea of this intersectional worldview, that essentially your immutable characteristics are what define the amount of power you have, and therefore the only way to solve it is what? Why don't they just come out and say it? They think that your immutable characteristics should define how much tax you pay. Don't you? Yeah. Yeah, Shola certainly does. The BLM people, all of those wokies. I don't go around saying woke all the time, because I think it's become like when the left scream Nazi or racist. It just doesn't mean anything anymore, unless you know what it means. But I still hesitate to say it because it's sort of become meaningless, right? But that's essentially what it is. I think we can see there is people who know what they're talking about. There is a movement which wants to maintain this sort of half meritocracy we've managed to scramble together in the democracies of the modern free world over the last few decades, or a couple of centuries maybe, and depending on what country you live in, of course. And there are others who think we should just raise it all to the ground, because everything's always going to be unfair. And the only reason things are unfair is because for some reason the immutable characteristics, which do not mean that one group is superior than the other, but for some reason allow for one group to be oppressing another, which is kind of paradoxical, isn't it? The only way we can flatten everything out, even out the playing field, is you look like that, give me more money. and the government will look after everyone, I guess. You know, they'll decide how much tax you pay based on, I don't know, a colour chart, looking up your skirt. But then, of course, looking up your skirt doesn't mean anything anymore, does it? That doesn't define what you are. I don't know. I know what I mean when I say woke. I think most of us do.